Get one last look of the Chevy Equinox before it changes. It's coming out probably later this year, early 2024, alongside the all-electric Equinox. It'll look a whole lot better than what you see here. Right now, it's an average SUV in the compact class, but a lot of other SUVs have been redesigned since this came out for the 2018 model year. Still, there's a lot to like. I'm gonna show you what's good, what's valuable, and what you should know when you're shopping. So let's go see. Chevy makes 5 car-based crossovers. The Equinox sits in between all of them. It's bigger than the Trailblazer and the Trax, it's smaller than the Traverse, and it's about the same size as a Blazer, and it costs a whole lot less. This is the sweet spot. This Equinox is the top premier trim. You can notice the extra chrome on the front and even on these door handles. And this bright red, it pops. But let's face it, this is more conventional. This is a safe and conservative choice. All around, the design is just an ordinary SUV. Now take a look at the new 2024 Trax. Look at the new Equinox EV. That's the new direction Chevy is facing. They're gonna be more like the Blazer. It's just more aggressive and just toned and more Camaro-like in all the SUVs. I like that direction more than I like this Equinox, but as it stands, there's a reason it's so popular because it appeals to everybody. For 2023, Chevy has delivered us 5 extra horsepower for a total of 175. That's not a lot, but no other compact SUV really makes a ton more power. They're all about the same. It's a 1.5-liter engine with a turbo and a 6-speed automatic. But these days, the Equinox is actually worse off than it used to be. There used to be a turbo diesel where you could get almost 40 mpg on the highway. And there was a 2-liter gas turbo that delivered over 250 horsepower. So this is all we got left. This is a right-sized SUV, and by right, I mean there's plenty of room without being too large. Check out the numbers. Those are good, but mind you, the Rogue and the CR-V are pushing more than 70 cubic feet with those seats folded. Where the Equinox beats everyone? Quietness. This electric power tailgate, I can barely hear it. That's good. There's lots of space back here, which is why you want a compact SUV of this size. It's good. Heated rear seats, separate cushion heaters if you so choose. That's rare. Household power outlet and this big panoramic moonroof. That's worth the upgrade, and it doesn't sacrifice headroom, not by much. This is the nice two-tone interior that you get on the Premier. It dresses up the cabin versus the all-black that you'll find on most Equinox trims, so this is a welcome upgrade. The style is actually pretty good after all these years. Of course, many of the interior materials are harder, but Chevy has gotten rid of the brittle, terrible-looking plastic it used to have on its past models. This looks just more upscale, even if it's not. And that's a good thing because at these starting prices, you want something that looks and feels good, but doesn't tell the world that you didn't spend any money on it. The interface is really simple. This screen is small, but it's built in, it's not tacked on. The gauges are analog, the climate controls are analog. It's simple, P, R, and D. Not a crazy shifter that you have to relearn. This is an 8-inch touchscreen with optional navigation. It works pretty well, and if you don't type anything in here, it uses voice and it's very fast. So say you just want to go to a Walmart. Done. It's very easy. Also wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Fast, simple, color-coded. It's like Honda's system. It's simple and it's easy to use while you're driving, so there's very little distraction. On this Premier trim, there's also cooled front seats. That's a really nice feature, and dual zone climate. The cameras are super clear and you get lots of views. 360 cameras, of course. Love looking at the side of the wheel, front and rear. And if you attach a tow hook, look how easy that is. The instrument panel is analog and it also includes an engine temperature gauge, which a lot of new cars don't. I like the fact that this has that. It's a small display underneath here in the center, but you can see your music, nav, and adjust some settings. So it's simpler than what you'll get in other cars at this price, especially the top trims, but it's helpful. The Equinox has a pretty powerful Turbo 4, and I say pretty powerful for only 1.5 liters. It's making 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque at a pretty low 2,000 RPM. The only issue is that once you get going, if you're trying to go from 30 to 50 or 50 to 70, exactly what you need to merge on a highway, it does take some extra time. And it's notable, it really is. But most of the cars in this class, like the Subaru Forester or the Toyota RAV4, they don't accelerate any better. They really don't. And that's the problem, because in this size class, I think you do need more horsepower to safely merge and pass and just do things, because these vehicles are almost, not quite, but almost approaching 4,000 pounds. And when you load people in the back and you have all your gear, then you're well past 4,000 pounds. So power really, the Equinox used to have more power, but like anything, we shouldn't be lamenting about the past. This is what we got in the present. My only gripe really is the 6-speed automatic, because the gear ratios just have such a wide gap in between them. Modern SUVs in this class are either running a CVT or an 8 or a 9-speed transmission, and any of those choices are better than the 6. I find this transmission just can't react like more modern transmissions do. It's kind of a shame. So that's what's really kind of pulling this SUV back into yesteryear. But when you're not pushing the Equinox, it's comfortable, it rides quietly, it's smooth. Even the engine doesn't really exhibit any vibration or harshness that previous GM 4-cylinders always did. This one does not. So just cruising around, doing ordinary car things, this hits like 90 to 95% of what most anyone needs. Where the Equinox truly leads is handling. Steering feels pretty good, and the chassis is solid. That's something that General Motors tends to perfect on almost any vehicle it makes. It might screw up in a lot of other areas, but handling and steering, among the best out there. That's why I think the Equinox does deserve a more powerful engine option for those people willing to pay for it. That's what they used to do, and I don't know, maybe for production efficiency, they just wanted to downgrade to just a smaller single option, but all the effort the engineers put into making this vehicle ride well, corner well, without having all these expensive features like adaptive dampers and electric anti-roll bars. I mean, this is tuned really perfectly for most any American road, and most any American road has problems on it, right? It's not perfectly paved, there's dips, there's bumps, and the Equinox handles it really well. There is one issue, and that's with the all-wheel drive system. So by default, this starts in front-wheel drive. If you don't press the all-wheel drive button below here in the console, the front tires will spin, and you'll wonder like, hey, I paid for all-wheel drive, is this broken? Well, no, that's not the case. It's just that this is not an automatic system. Once you engage all-wheel drive, it remembers that setting. But it's a bit odd because every other SUV in this class will automatically engage the rear axle when it detects slip, and this one does not. The fuel economy is just average. Again, that engine has to work a lot harder to move this mass than something that's slightly bigger and makes more power. And there's also no hybrid option, so I hope in the future the next Equinox improves on these numbers. For 2023, there's a new electric brake-by-wire system that replaces the older hydraulic system, and thankfully, as soon as you dip into that brake pedal and go right to the bottom, it's a good feel, so you would never know the difference. The 2023 Chevy Equinox starts at $27,995 for the front-wheel drive LS. Now, my model, which was the all-wheel drive Premier, cost $38,160 with destination. There's 4 trims, and there's not a whole lot of options, so buying is pretty simple. When you compare the Equinox to other competitors like the RAV4 and the CR-V and the Sportage, well, all of these cars are much newer, they've got newer technology, they've got better style inside and out, and a lot of them have more cargo space. The best I can say about this Equinox is that there's always dealer incentives, it's a good value, you're bound to get a good price no matter where you shop or what time you buy. But these days, so many newer SUVs have come out that I think it really is outclassed both in technology, in looks, and also some of the powertrains. Other competitors are doing it better for the same price. So what do you think? And are you excited for the next gen Equinox? Because I know I am. Go to CarGurus.com for your next car, subscribe, we'll see you next time.